All right, all right. Hello, Gun Nation. How's everyone doing this evening? Hope y'all are doing well. We will do a quick roll call. I've already said hi to a couple of the guys. We got DB in the house, Rusty Taylor, David Walcott. Let's see here. Gundry, yep. Let's see here. I think I said Rusty Taylor already, but Dirt Track, Chessboard, Mike Kai's in the house. Hope everybody has a drink. I've got a bottle of shit water here. I do not like this water, but that is all this particular convenience store had. It was not the nicest place. I was in Louisiana. I was in Louisiana. Now I'm in Tyler, Texas, this evening. So, and I'll be heading back home tomorrow. Hello, reloading from the hot pot and bald and curious. I hope y'all are doing well. I did want to share some news, of course, with the family members that are on here. Uh, the buddy of mine that had cancer, uh, I had kind of told y'all about it, I don't know, a week or so ago. I was able to go see him on Sunday. Probably, I don't know, it was like Sunday around 11 o'clock or so. He was in a hospice center. What was so crazy is I was trying to text him to find out the address because we were kind of communicating by text. But then he got so weak that he couldn't respond back. Um, well, his wife was able to break into his phone and saw that he had a message in there, but he hadn't hit send. So he hit send, or she sent it, and that way I was able to get the address. So I jumped, took a shower, headed over there, was able to see him. Of course, he was out of it on major, painkillers. Did talk to his wife, was able to sit down and talk to him. Of course, he couldn't respond back. Did get some eye opening, when I would call his name and things like that. Um, so I was there for a couple of hours and visiting with her and things. I got back home and he passed away that same day, later that afternoon. So he did pass, but good guy. Definitely going to miss him. They'll probably be having or she will probably be having like a memorial type for him. So I'm going to try to go to that as best I can. Um, but anyway, so you know that is what happens. Uh, you know, but I saw pictures of him, like what was it, 6'13", 6'11", standing up on stage. You know, and then this is how quickly uh, it went down. So it was stage 4 cancer in his esophagus and his liver, so it had spread. So, but gonna miss him. Bald knows him. A couple of people know him, um, but good guy. I shot his Alien. I've shot his 338 Lapua. Just some of his Atlases. Really good guy. So very caring. One of the good guys on earth. So he will definitely be missed. Hello, Abigail, Dennis Buckner, CJ. Let's see here. Yeah, I'm sure sorry too. And Ball's definitely right. Cancer sucks. And my dad's going through his chemo and radiation. He doesn't have. They're not saying it's stage 4 or any of that. So hopefully he's going to press through this like a champ. So hello, Rich B, Lake Ozark guy. How's everyone? And I guess you'll see the title of this is ATF Comes Knocking. And what I kind of wanted to do, and I've talked about this before, but however, Keenan Gillum, if y'all, follow me, you might follow him. But he brought up, and he's ex LEO um, personally himself. But, he was, I guess, one of his customers had ATF come to his door and were doing a check and wanted to look at his suppressors. So I wanted to kind of get into how I would handle that. He was asking, how would you handle it? I did put a big, paragraph in, and it was for a comment on one of his videos. And him being ex-LEO, he might have not liked the comment that I left. But I just wanted to kind of share it with you. And I want to get y'all's opinion. If ATF came knocking on your door, what would you do? So, we'll kind of do it. Put it out there for that. Yes, Rich B, and that's exactly what I said. I will see him again another time. So, when it's my time, we'll be up there. I will definitely see him. So, oh, let's see here. I have a friend that I lost with liver failure at 45 years old. He had esophagus cancer also. Yeah, and he was 48. My buddy was 48. So, and well, I don't want to get into that part of it. Yeah, I won't get into the part that I was thinking about. I'm going to leave that alone. Hello, William. How are you? William Bader's in the house. Clyde Cumberland. Abigail, I hope your friend, presses through that pretty quickly. Hello, Floridian. How are you? Abigail says, tell him to get a warrant. I'll do Florida things. Trouble land. Tell them to get out of there. Ask if they have a court order. If not a court order, just politely decline and tell them to leave your property. Oh my gosh. And chessboard, I'm sure sorry to hear that. Oh my gosh. That's awful. Yeah, you always think you're going to outlive your kids for sure. I'm an ordained minister. My wife is also ordained. It'd be on religious grounds, yeah. I wouldn't do anything. Wouldn't be disrespectful. But no warrant, they can leave. I'll basically tell you what I said to him. A lot of those things are kind of fact-finding or fishing expeditions is what I call them, because the ATF has your paperwork. If you own SBRs, if you own suppressors, if you own all that stuff, they know your address and all that other stuff. For them to come do a random check at your home, that's BS. Unless you have an FFL. So, like myself, if I had an FFL, they have to come in, they have to check your paperwork periodically and all that other kind of stuff if you're buying and selling guns and those types of things. I get that. I'm not an FFL. That's one reason I haven't gotten it. Everybody's asked, why don't you get an FFL? Why don't you get an FFL? I could easily. However, it's for that one reason. I do not want them just coming in and out whenever they willy-nilly want to. So if they came to my door, for one, I really wouldn't answer the door. But if I chose to, I would not open the door. The way that my door is set up, it's solid. I can't remember if it's oak or mahogany or something, but the door is like this thick, solid as hell. And then it has a small, kind of door up at the top that you can open just, that big of a door. And then it's got an iron cage on the outside of it. So I would open it up and, maybe talk through them that way. But I'm not opening my door because it never fails. You get the one officer or whomever that puts their foot in the door to try to keep you talking or to let you, be your friend. It's and then for one, I would ask, I'd probably open up that little door I was talking about and say, can I help you? And I would not be rude. I would not be like, blah, blah, blah. But find out what they want and then ask, do you have a warrant? And if they go, no, but we just want to talk to you. We just want to talk to you. We just want to be your friend. We just want to do this. No, no fishing here. And the way I look at it is, that's exactly what they're doing. They're fishing. They want to take those, write your serial numbers down, do all those kind of things. Basically, I look at it this way. For those items, I'm already on a registry with the ATF. So they don't need to do a local registry, to find out what people have in the local area. So I'm not going to appease them and give that to them. That's none of their business. So, I would just say, hey, if you need me, come back with a warrant. And when you do, then I would be on the phone with my attorney, not signing anything, not letting them take anything, those kind of things. And then you start recording. That's basically how I would handle it if they had a warrant. No warrant, no entry, no nothing. So that's the way I stand. Keenan is ex-LEO, so you know they might have some kind of a brotherhood there. But if they're coming and asking a bunch of questions and all that stuff, they already know what you have. From what I understand, they're trying to find out if you've sold it or any of those kind of things. They want to see if it's still in your possession. That's none of their business. It's just none of their business. So that's the way I stand about it. So wrong, right, indifferent. You can agree, disagree, whatever, but that's the way I stand. But even when people like solicitors come to the door or any of that kind of stuff, I don't really answer that stuff. Um, I did one time, um, and it was really funny. I was actually in the backyard, and I had my battle belt on, and I was just doing dry fire practice on the back fence. I've got the USPSA cardboard targets, and I have the little ones that y'all have seen people put in their office and stuff. Anyway, I just have some on the back fence. So I was out there horsing around, and my wife said, "Hey, somebody's at the front door." So I went to the front door and popped open that little window, and this guy goes, "Hey, I want to talk to you about blah blah blah." Well, anyway, I was like, okay, he's like, he's a solar panel salesman or something. So anyway, I popped the little door and locked it, opened up the big door, and I had my battle belt on with my pistol and my mags, and no ammo in it. And he kind of looked at me kind of funny, and he was like, and I go, "Yeah, can I help you?" He's like, "Yeah, I just wanted to leave some information." He hands me a pamphlet and his card, and he walks off. So I thought, okay, well, that's one way to do it. I wasn't touching any of it. I had my hands up, all that stuff. So I wasn't being a threat or anything like that. But not saying I would do that to law enforcement or anything else, because that wouldn't probably go well. I will not show them anything or open the door. That's what I'm saying. People coming to your door and doing these little checks, and they could also, the way that I look at it is, how they're always pushing these red flag laws and all that other stuff. They could try to assess you. Are you mental? Do they think that you're mentally stable? They could say all kinds of. They could be like, "Oh, judge, he was cussing us and he was drinking or he was drunk," or you just don't know what they're going to say. And I'm not saying that everybody's bad. I'm not trying to say that, but I'm just saying you never know. So don't put yourself in that situation. Yeah, dog killers. Yep, they're wanting it to be a normal, common thing by coming to your door. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You know, most of the time when all the officer, they come in with the vest and all these other things on with all the placards on them. No, that's not gonna happen. Yeah, why do they only do compliance checks in neighborhoods with nice lawns? Yeah, they don't go to the hood and do that kind of stuff. Yeah, I guess they could come to your door on Halloween and you might not know, if it's a costume or not. They'll be like, "Hey, we need to talk to you. Want to ask you about your car's extended warranty." Yes, Pistol Pete, we're definitely going to talk about that. The New Mexico governor uh, basically told everybody in Albuquerque County and another county that they can't open carry or conceal carry. Where the hell did she come off with this? There's this thing called the Second Amendment. So she's getting roasted over that. I think they already put a stay on it, but all the law enforcement stuff were like, we're not going to do that. And I've been to Albuquerque many, many times. Um, you know, you don't want to go, if y'all have been there, yeah, you don't want to be in downtown Albuquerque without being strapped for sure. Let's see here. Exactly, David. That's where I was going with this. They're going around doing door to door checks for lawful citizens, but they're not going to, the bad areas. Come on now. They can go there and find switches. I mean, all kinds of stuff. And y'all know where I'm going with that. I mean, I've seen all these videos and I'm like, why the hell don't they find these guys? But, it is what it is. But yes, without a warrant, I'm not talking to them. And with a warrant, that's when the attorney gets involved. Um, you know, that's what you pay attorneys for. Word for it is control, power. Yes, I've said that numerous times. That's what they want: is control and power. It's all tyranny. All tyranny. They won't leave law-abiding citizens alone. We're not the problem. Criminals are the problem, but they come after us. All right, let's see what Rich B says. So I was at my local gun shop yesterday and looked at a Smith & Wesson 629-44 Magnum revolver with walnut grips. Beautiful firearm. So why am I so obsessed with this gun now? You're obsessed with it, Rich B, because you don't have it. So that's what happens. You see something that you want, then you're consumed with it. You're watching videos on it. You're asking opinions on it. I've had subscribers and just regular people reach out to me and say, "Oh my gosh, I'm thinking about this gun. Can you tell me more about it? What's your opinion?" And they'll go on every one of my videos for that particular gun, and it's like they've watched all of them. They're leaving like thumbs up, or they're saying, "Hey, I watched this one. I watched this one. I watched this one. I watched this one." And then on the last one, they're like, "What's your opinion on it?" And I'm like, "Well, damn, you've watched like 12 videos or 8 videos or whatever from way back all the way to current. What's your opinion on it? I mean, what do you think? If I still have it and I still shoot it and I still show it in videos, usually means because I like it. But, yeah, attorneys aren't cheap, that's for sure. That's why I have FLP, Firearms Legal Protection. You can actually call and just get information about stuff like that. And then if you're harassed and they want to take it, not just because you've presented a firearm or done something like that, you can call in and they'll give you advice and things like that. And on something like that, I don't know if they would just, if you could just automatically call them, I might call them and just ask, just call not the attorney line, because I have a direct attorney line, not call that one, but just call their local helpline for information, and might just ask them that. If ATF came to my door, could I just call that attorney since I'm a member? See what they say. Yeah, that's true, Pistol Pete. It's happened to me before, guns that I've looked at and I'm like, man, I really want that. Then you go back the next day or something, or a couple of days later, and it's gone. It's happened to me many times. Yep, reloading from the hot pot got him the new Hollow Sun competition in green. You'll have to let us know what you think about it. I'm sure he'll have a video on it. Milkman said, I just bought my first 308. What ammo do you suggest? If you're wanting to group it and see how well it does, I would get like heavy grain 308. I would get like 168. God, what do I have? I've got like 168 match. I would get some good ammo, but heavy grain, and see how it groups. Don't just get like 150. Target loads, like you'd shoot hogs or something, or plink with. Get some really good ammo like a match grade ammo, and group it and see what kind of groups you're getting, see how tight it is. And also, don't just, don't just hold it. I mean, bipod it, brace it down, bag it down, get set up nice, and then see how it groups. What 308 did you buy? What brand or any of that? They're holding it until Friday. I justify with all the bears running around my neighborhood. There you go. Probably not a bad deal. Todd B said, "Who is your FLP?" That stands for Firearms Legal Protection. That is my self-defense insurance that I've had for quite a while. I was one of their original members way back. You've probably seen what is his name? Um, he pitches for them. He does all those videos. His name's John, and he does all those videos where it's like, this assailant goes in here and he films all these like attacks and stuff like that. I forget the damn name of the channel. He's got it's like a snake, asp. What does that stand for? I can't remember. Anyway, his name's John something. I never can pronounce it. But I was like their 12th member, I think, and been with them since they opened. And anyway, he's with them. He's been with them, I guess, I don't know, 2 or 3 years. And he's kind of the pitch man for them and does a lot of their stuff for them. Rusty says, as a former peace officer, no one I know had a brotherhood with ATF. Yeah, I hear you there. Yep, that's true. Let's see here. Let me catch back up. Clyde said, "What made you choose FLP over, say, like USCCA?" Definitely read all the fine print. Uh, Definitely read the fine print. A lot of them, they choose whether it's a good shoot or a bad shoot in their opinion. They can pick it up or not pick it up on some insurances. Mine will go to court and basically fight it out for you and then go from there. Also, I have like a bond set up that is included in my package. Also, they'll pay, I think it's up to like $1,000 for the gun if they keep it and they keep it too long or whatever. They'll pay you up to $1,000. Also, they have cleanup fee because there will be a cleanup because that's hazardous material. If you know where I'm going, I'm not going to say it, but if you use your pew pew, there's going to be a cleanup, and that is hazardous cleanup. So it's not cheap. They provide cleanup for that. A lot of them do not, such as USCCA. Also, this one is unlimited. A lot of them will max out. Some of them will only cover criminal and not civil. Mine covers both. Mine also covers red flag. If I'm ever involved in a red flag, I can call as well. Some of them you cannot. So read all of the fine print, not because somebody tells you to buy it on the internet or an influencer. Read all the fine print. I'll just leave it at that. Because I have read the fine print on a lot of those. You don't get what you pay for. Reloading says, I put it on my Staccato P. Cool, man. Any experience with the small gun shop in Magnolia, Texas? Yes. Slide Work Engineering, I believe, is there. They do all of the milling and stuff. He's merged with them, I believe, if that's the same one. So yes, I have been in there. It's been a long time. And Slide Work Engineering has done like 3 of my guns, milling, custom stippling, and Cerakote. Really, that side, I haven't bought anything from the gun shop. They were my own guns, but I think that's the gun shop there. They use Slide Work Engineering for all their work. and I think he's affiliated with them in some way. Yeah, Lake Ozark guy. I'll let you know. I'll give him a call. Yeah, and A-Dubs is right. I've done that. I've kind of matched up some of the barrels with the ammo that it likes. Um, I really haven't found any of my 308s that don't like, God, what is it? It's Federal 168. Crap. I think it's Boat to Hollow Point Match or something. I can't remember the damn name of it. No. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's cool, man. Not a problem. I mean, like I said, if it runs, it runs. Active self protection, yes. He became their pitch person, I guess, like 3 years ago or something. But I think I've been with them for 5 or 6, something like that. There you go. That's it. Federal gold medal match 168. Yes, Todd, you are correct. That is the one that runs really good. And like, I think all of my 308s, I think it runs really good in all my 308s. Ooh, I'm building a 7 millimeter '08 with SLR receivers. Cool, man. I've got a 7 millimeter, it's just a deer rifle, and then I've got an 8 millimeter Mauser, but I don't have a 7 millimeter '08. That's awesome. Yeah, and I had something I was going to ask y'all, and let me know your opinions. I've got ARs, I've got shotguns, I've got pistols, 9 millimeters, 45s, 22. What do y'all like seeing videos on the most? Is it rifles, pistols? Not just because I'm a kind of a diehard pistol guy. I've got, other things. But what do y'all like watching videos the most? Pistols, shotguns, rifles, 22s, 22 rifles, 22 pistols. What do y'all like to see the most of? Just curious. Yeah, I've always had real good luck with the federal gold medal match, and then also Hornaday. Their match grade, whatever. I've had pretty good luck with it as well. But the federal gold medal match seems to be more accurate. Pistols, the whole, okay, all the firearms, grenade launcher. Yeah, I don't have that. Floridian likes to watch me cook. I love to cook, man. I've even picked up some other stuff. I've got, well, I'm in as far as cooking. I've got some picanha. I don't know if y'all have ever heard of picanha. I've got a picanha I'm going to be cooking. I did the tri-tip the last time, but I think I'm going to do the picanha this time. And I've got some really, really awesome baby back ribs. So I might do some ribs. I don't know if I'm going to do the ribs or the picanha next, but picanha is pretty damn good if you've never had it. A lot of people, um, it's really, if you don't know what picanha is, it's actually super, super popular in Brazil. It's like they have it at Brazilian steakhouses, and it's got the big fat cap on the top, and you can actually slice it into steaks, so you can cook it as like a steak, or you can make it like kind of a picanha roast, and you can cook it that way as well. Hello, GB58. How are you? Abigail says rifles are my favorite. I'm most comfortable with a rifle. AR Patriot says rifles, precision, AR-15s, and AR-10s, long rifle 308s. Because I will be honest with you, when I want to go to the range and just completely relax, the most relaxing rifle I have is my 22 it's the B-22 precision 22 rifle. Man, that thing is so freaking relaxing. It's accurate as hell. Of course, with Lapua Center X, super accurate. I mean, just a joy to shoot. Um, I mean, it's like boring accurate if I do my part. But I mean, I love rifles. I just don't shoot them that much, and I want to shoot them more. So I was just curious if y'all were, if y'all were in the rifle groove or shotgun. Hell, I need to go run my shotguns too. I haven't shot them in a long time. All the educationals, cook bacon on a firearm. Yeah. When I was going to do a cook too, and I haven't done it yet because I'm trying to keep my, you know, I mean, I was trying to keep my barbecue channel kind of friendly all the way around. I still made it not for kids because I cuss sometimes and I want to, it is what it is. Um, but I always have a gun on me when I'm cooking, and I'm probably just going to start, even when I'm cooking, just periodically, maybe like pull the holster out, leave it in the holster, and just talk about it, what my barbecue gun of the day or that particular day is. Maybe I'll rotate them and have different ones, let y'all check them out. CJ likes pistols and shotguns. AM Ryan says all of the educational. All right, Clyde Cumberland saying, I'm debating on getting a second 1x10X for my 308. Is that enough glass, or get something like a 3x18, 4x16, probably 500 yards tops? Honestly, if you're going to stretch it out to 500 yards, yes, a 1x10 will do that, but I would really rather have a 4 by something or a 3 by something. So when you're really stretching it out there, you're not getting any shadow. Of course, that's about aligning your eye to the scope, but less shadow. When you get to the 10 or the 9, you're going to get some shadow. So, I mean, why not have more than you'll need? So, I mean, you can look at somebody's eyelash. That's the way I would want it set up if you're going to stretch it out. And I have guns, even 308s, set up for different things. If you can't do that, I would recommend a scope that you can see farther with, and then you can get an offset red dot or put a red dot on the top, like a pistol red dot for up close and personal if you want to do that. But I would at least start with a 3 and go out. I wouldn't do a 1x10 because think about it. Your 1, 2, 3, honestly, it's really kind of useless where you could start with a 3 and then stick a red dot on the top or on the side, an offset, and that would take care of your 1, 2, and maybe 3, or 1 and 2 at least. So that's the way I would do it. But it's completely up to you. Let's see here. I won't use a pistol as my main home defense. Use it for backup. Get a rifle. Yeah, I mean, rifles definitely serve their purpose. My favorite are surplus firearms. Yep. I have some old ones. I don't have a lot of surplus stuff. I have some old ones from when I was a kid. Matter of fact, there was videos going around that were talking about what's your squirrel gun. I can't remember. I think it was CW or somebody who was doing it. But I saw some of the guys, like Chris from the 740. He put out one. Trigger Bar Philosopher put out one, and they were showing like their squirrel gun or their original one. I've got some old squirrel guns that were because I'm older than most people, but they were actually my grandfather's 22s that I have. So would y'all be interested in seeing old 22s? Like my squirrel guns, I killed a lot of squirrels, raccoons, turtles, snakes, because my grandfather had a farm. So we had a ton of water moccasins. ton of turtles, and the turtles would eat the fish that were in the pond. So we would take out a lot of the snapping turtles because man, they're scavengers. They will tear some stuff up. So I'd kill all the turtles, but I was a little sniper when I was a kid with these rifles. Yes. Do you ever rent a gun before buying one? Yes, I've told that to I don't know how many people. If your gun store, your local gun store, has some guns that you're looking at, say it's your first striker fire gun or your first double action single action gun or your first 1911 or whatever it might be, get with your local gun store and see what they offer. If they've got a Glock, a SIG, a CZ, or whatever in your striker fire, try different ones. I've even let people that I know, they're not like best friends or anything. They're just acquaintances, and they're like, hey, I'm kind of looking to get my first or second gun or whatever. What do you recommend? And I'm like, hey, let's just go to the range. I'll bring some, and you can try them, see what you think about them. I'll meet you up there or whatever, and let them do that and kind of make their own mind up. Because by telling someone, here's the gun you need or here's the gun I carry, it might not be for you. So I kind of, just steer them that way. Yep. Target 22s and no wind is zen. It is, man. More pistols than rifles and shotguns. All the above. Drills with rifles. Staggered triple drill failure is fun. I like the 1x10. If you like the 1x10, get it. It's like I said, I'm just giving you an opinion from myself. Yeah, Texas Gun Experience has a ton of rental guns. They've got some nice ones. Wilson Combats. They even have the John Wick. They've got all kinds of guns that you can try out. Incline red dot. Incline red dot. I don't know if I know what an. I don't know if I've heard that term, incline red dot. A rifle with a light at the minimum for home defense. A dot is best, or EOTech you pick. My old 870 mag shotgun had a Surefire mounted and a pressure pad mounted with Velcro. Yeah, if you've seen my shotguns, I have them set up with lights, definitely slings, and I've said this 1,000 times. If it's going to be something for home defense and it's not a pistol like in your hand, if it's a rifle or a shotgun or a 300 blackout or sub gun, whatever, it definitely needs a sling on it for sure. You want to keep it slung to yourself and not give that rifle up to someone in a struggle. So definitely do that. And a light. And also be aware of your neighborhood and your surroundings. Um, if I send a 308 off in my house and say I missed the bad guy, I have a brick home, but if it goes through a window, uh, whatever, that's not going to stop. It's going to keep going. And you've got neighbors, so be aware of that. I haven't tried the FN 510 yet. I've had a lot of people ask me about that. I have not tried one yet. Pranix loves the old and new 22 LRs. I have some old 22s. I have a Carnival gun 22. A lot of people called it the Carnival gun. So if you've heard that term and you know what that means, I've got one. Damn things. If I'm not mistaken, that thing is. It's. I think it's almost. If it's not 100 years old, it's freaking 80 years old, and it still shoots great. I've got some old ones, and then I have some, of course, that are, uh, you know, 75 years old. I always like to watch videos on takedown and cleaning of different guns, pick up some nice pointers. Yeah, I've done some takedown videos before where I've taken them apart and shown how I clean them. Everybody cleans things different and oils things different. There's points that I hit that some other people are like, hey, I've never thought about doing that before. And I explain why I do it. So if y'all want to see something like that, let me know and I'll do some. That is true. They get on, man, they've gotten on to me. Every gun I own, they say is modified. I put a flashlight, just a flashlight, on a stock gun before. Had a mounted flashlight on the freaking the uh, the mount, that was on the bottom of the gun, the pistol, and they said that I modified the gun. Gallery gun. Yep, gallery gun or carnival gun. That's easy. So you know what it is. Yeah, you can pull them apart in two pieces. Oh, awesome. Getting a 100-year-old shotgun whenever my dad comes to visit. That's awesome. I've got some old shotguns too. Some I won't shoot because, man, not saying they're in bad shape, but whew, man, I don't know. Old shaving brush. Hell, that's what I use to shave my face. I wet shave. I even have straight razors, the old school straight razors. I usually do a double edge. It's the blade that you take your razor apart, put the blade in it, and you mix up your shaving cream. I kind of like the old school, but I don't use any of that Gillette shit. And that crap, all that, that foam. I don't know if you've read about it, but all the foam crap is all chemicals that you're rubbing on your face. So just be aware of that. Yeah, I've had a lot of people say, in your home defense shotgun, why don't you use slugs? And I'm like, do you know what a slug will do? Have you ever shot a slug through a shotgun? Man, that shit'll fucking go through brick. I mean, that stuff's wicked. If I shot a slug in my house and missed, whoo, it's going. That's the same for a 308. Yeah, and I shoot all mine too. It's just some of these, it's just like, man, they're so damn old. It's just, you can't get stocks for some of these. You can't get some of these parts. They would actually have to be manufactured. I mean, like literally made for some of these things because they're so damn old. There you go. When I first started tattooing, I used a straight razor to shave clients. Yeah. When I got one of my tats, the guy did that. That was a long time ago, though. Soap and water. I actually use it's soap. It's called Razor Rock. It's actually made in Italy. It's good stuff. And it's got a lot of moisturizers and like the natural stuff. Like to see some of those old guns, maybe a couple of rifles and shotguns. Okay, I could do that. I even have my grandmother's 32 hex barrel. She used to sit on the porch and shoot chickens with because she was old and couldn't chase the chickens, so she'd just shoot them in the head, let them run around, and then she'd pick them up. And we used to have a lot of fried chicken. Yeah, I'm a 300 blackout guy myself, reloading. I mean, I've got a shotgun that's ready. It's got buckshot in it. I'm a 8 shot guy, not a 9 shot guy. I do have 9 shot, but it never fails. When you get an 8 shot, they'll stack two, 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 and two, to 8. But when you do a 9, there's always that one mysterious one that doesn't stack correctly. So when it goes out, you'll have a pattern, and then you always have one little one, straggler up or down, because that's just the way it comes out on a 9 shot. So I highly recommend the 8 shot over a 9 shot, because if y'all have seen those, that's basically another almost 9 millimeter that's coming out of there, and you don't want that thing to stray. So, ooh, I had a guy talk me into putting a turkey choke on my 11 gauge. I might change it back to the breech choke. Yeah, I mean, it's whatever works, man. I've seen some people do some pretty crazy stuff. I mean, I'm not saying that's crazy. I've just had. All right. CJ says, "What 9 millimeter home defense round do you use?" I use HST 124 non plus P. That is what I choose. I spoke about it last week on the chat as well. I'm just an HST guy. There's not really a wrong or a right. Just whatever you choose, make sure you run it in your gun to make sure it functions correctly. Everyone loves fried chicken. Yes, they do. No, it's a 32 short. And that's one thing I'm going to do some checking on this one, because I need to see. I've personally never shot this one, but looking at it, I'm thinking it's either set up for 32 short or 32 rim fire. That was a thing, so you can look it up. That's how old this thing is. So it kind of looks like it has a firing pin, like it's been retroed. But before I shoot it, I want to have it checked out and just make sure. Let's see here. Hello, Norwood. How are you? What's up, Big Johnson? Got that sugar weasel? Yeah, that's awesome, man. Drinking potatoes, that counts. Little vodka, potato vodka. Grilled. Yeah, I mean, grilled chicken's good too. Chicken's just good as long as it's, on a plate. Woo! Man, hot pot, you're gonna find a new convenience store that'll be your favorite place, man. Those are a lot of fun. Yeah, I was gonna say, I wish I had a good glass of whiskey right now, or hell, even a bad glass of whiskey. Kind of craving a glass of whiskey. I don't drink a whole bunch. I only drink like maybe once or twice a week, if that. Definitely cut back on drinking quite a bit. The only thing, and I'll just tell you a really quick story. The only thing I had an issue with Hornaday. Now, this was a long time ago, and I've talked about this. I think I even have a video somewhere on it. The Hornaday with the little polymer tip on it, the little red tip. I did a test where I think I did 2 boxes of that, and I loaded them up in my FNS 9, my FNS 9, and I did mag after mag. I think I had, I don't know, it's like 4 mags loaded, and those what hold 7, 18. Um, so I shot the first mag, loaded the second mag, shot the second mag, and the gun was getting hot because I was just rolling through it. And got the third mag. I started running it, and then it was like jamming up, and I had to like clear a round. I'm like, what the hell's going on? I had to clear another round. Dropped the mag, pulled the gun apart, and actually on the feed ramp, the gun was getting so hot as it was feeding the ammo up and it was rubbing up the feed ramp. The polymer tip was actually melting. So it was literally melting on a polished feed ramp. If y'all know anything about FNs, they all have polished precision barrels. That's one of the perks you're getting with an FN. So it is a polished precision barrel. That's why some of the barrels are thinner also for weight, and they call them precision barrels. Gun's super accurate. And it was actually melting as it was feeding in. So I had a big glob of rubber red goo on there. And I was like, what the hell? So, I started rubbing it all off. I was using the end of a wooden, like a little wooden pick. I didn't use the end of the metal pick. It was wooden on the end. And I was scraping that off. After I scraped it off, it started feeding, and the gun cooled back down and started feeding correctly. And I called Hornaday about this. This was probably 12 years ago. And they said the polymer or the tip they were using back then under extreme heat, it could melt. They say their new ones won't do that, supposedly. I haven't tested it since, but I don't know. So that kind of pulled me away from that. I'm not saying yours will fail if you do that. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying they told me their old polymer or whatever the rubber they were putting in those, that could be a problem. So ever since then, I've never used them again. I still have some because I bought a whole crap load of it. So I still have some, but I don't really shoot it for self-defense. Now, are you going to be running your gun hot, just mag after mag after mag after mag of defensive ammo? No, probably not. But I just want to see what it would do. Balt's getting rid of his 509 Edge. How it takes the papers to get a suppressor again. Been thinking of doing the paperwork for a 30 cal 7.62 for my 308, possibly a 300 blackout in the future. Yeah, and you can run a 7.62 or 7.62 can or a 30 cal can on a 308 and a 5.56. You just have a little bit larger opening, but I can't tell a huge sound difference personally between a 5.56 can and a 30 cal can on a 5.56. How long does it take? Mine were 5 months. Now I've heard some people it's longer, then I've heard some people say it's shorter. So I really don't know now currently. I guess you'd have to check with someone who has one currently now out. I don't know. Rich B said tried some Buffalo Trace. Good stuff. It is good stuff, man. It's kind of my go-to. If you're just wanting something simple, or hell, for an all the time drink, I like it. But some people don't. I'm drinking Tanqueray and Simply Orange with mango. Okay. I'm not much of a mango person. I like orange, the Simply Orange, but I don't know about the mango. Just not a mango person. Pistol Pete was born in a Flying J. Wow. Man, I've been to plenty of Flying J's. They're all over the place here too. We have Circle K. I would say Buc-ee's is my favorite convenience store, and then Quick Trip QT. That's my second favorite. Oklahoma. Oklahoma, they have a brand there now. QT originated in Oklahoma, but before QT, they had Come and Go, KUM, or hang on, yeah, KUM and Go. So those are popular in Oklahoma, Come and Goes. But Loves. I've been to plenty of Loves truck stops. But yeah, QT is probably my second favorite. 7-Elevens are crap. They're garbage. We have them. I'm sure y'all have them too. I don't care for 7-Elevens. Hey, IBG, how are you? Why are all beers light nowadays? I want my heavy beer. Don't drink that Bud Light. It'll turn you into something you don't want to be. I'm just joking, whatever. I mean, I don't drink it, but I actually saw somebody buying it today when I was getting these waters. I saw some people buying it. I think it was on sale, so that might be why they bought it. What do you have to say, Pistol Pete? Tell us. He says, I have something to say. What do you have to say, Pistol Pete? Let it rip. Dang, man, this hour's gone by fast. Rusty says 7-Eleven was a part-time job. Or something you didn't know you were. That pizza in the QT is amazing. Yeah, it's actually not bad pizza. Pistol Pete says, I'm not a YouTube creator, but I hate the damn shorts. What do you hate about shorts? I don't do many of them. Some of them, people like. Some of them don't get any views. I mean, sometimes I just throw them up there just so people can watch something quick. Bread is carbonated bread water with extra yeast. I'm not a huge beer drinker. I'll drink a beer occasionally, like Shiner. I like Shiner and stuff. It's made in Texas, but um, it just, I don't know, man. I get too full. I just feel bloated. I just don't get that with whiskey, vodka, anything like that. But yeah, I'm not a huge beer drinker. Back when I was in college and high school, everybody drank beer, so I drank a lot of beer. But then once I was acquainted with whiskey, it was really hard to go back. I mean, nothing's wrong with beer, if that's what you like. Got nice legs. Shorts are comfortable. Let's see here. I am the liquor. You could start a chain of Big J pit stops. Yeah, I could. I definitely could. I'd probably be too, I don't know, man. That's the bad thing. I'm too critical. Like, if I go like to a good steakhouse, like for example, um, I went to a good steakhouse in Dallas. What was it? 2 weeks ago. No, 3 weeks ago. 3 weeks ago. I was working a weekend show, and a customer took us to a really nice steakhouse. And I had never been to this one. It's in near downtown Dallas, and never been to it. It's kind of one of those farm to table kind of places where they don't freeze the meat; it's fresh and all that other stuff. Um, and you get to pick it out and all that. But and I had a ribeye, and told them exactly the way I wanted it cooked and everything. And man, I don't know. It's I guess when you cook your own stuff all the time, I'm probably being way too critical. And like I said, it wasn't a bad steak. It just wasn't cooked to the temperature that I truly wanted it. It wasn't seasoned very well. Um, they didn't uh, they didn't let it rest like they should have. I could just tell that it was done kind of too quickly. But again, I'm just being picky as hell, or being a snob, I guess is what you could say. Yeah, I agree with that. I don't. Yeah, that loud hip hop crap. That's not my gig. Clyde said, "I could see you owning an awesome gun shop, Big J." Yeah, I mean, a lot of people have said that. Hey, you should open a gun shop. You should open a gun shop, and I'm just like, ugh. Then who are you dealing with if you opened a gun shop? Kind of what I said earlier. You got the alphabet boys in there all the time telling you what to do, what not to do. Blah blah blah. I mean, I don't need to see them, but it is what it is. IBG says, Big J, you still have your PO9s? Are they flat shooters? Which do you prefer, PO7 or PO9? Yes, I have both of my PO9s still, and I have both my PO7s. Even with my big size hands and all that stuff, I shoot them both really good, the PO7 and the PO9. Um, like I said, I'm not taking anything away from either one of them. Um, Out of those two, even with the hand size, I still shoot the PO7 a little bit better. And yes, they shoot flat, all that good stuff. I've got one PO7 and one PO9 with comps, kind of like a rolling special setup, and then two of them are more stock, without dots and comps. Um, or the other PO9 and the other PO7 are standard. But yeah, I mean, I really like them. It's just, whichever one. If you want maximum capacity, definitely get the PO9. If you want, you know, and I can carry both of them. So it's whatever you think. Rusty is saying, seasoned steak, salt and pepper. Yes, I use SPG for standard. Um, SPG, salt, pepper, garlic, if you've never heard it called that. We just shorten it to SPG. So if you ever hear the term SPG, salt, pepper, garlic, what I like to do prior to that on the steaks is I will salt brine them. So I will take them out when they're defrosted, open them up, towel dry them with a paper towel, and then I'll shake kosher salt on both sides, or excuse me, both, front and back, and then get a little on the sides. Put them on a tray, and then I will salt brine them. Dry salt brining is what it's called, not wet. And I will do that in the fridge or any kind of beef. I always salt brine it, and I will put that in the fridge for 24 hours. Then you don't take it out and wash it off. You take it out. What that does is it actually shrinks the meat up. And even if you have a brown steak, after it's brined, it'll actually redden it up. It brings, it basically sucks all the moisture in it. And like you'll have a steak this big, and after you brine it, it'll shrink it up. And what that does is don't go away. This thing's doing something weird. But my damn camera just did something weird. I don't know what's going on. Come on, come back to me. Oh, crap. Well, it looks like if I keep messing with this, it might cut off, so I don't want to mess with it. But anyway, I salt brine them, then I'll pull them out. Do not wipe any of that salt off or anything, and then I season them with salt, pepper, garlic, or a rub of my choice, and then grill them. You can do a reverse sear, standard sear, however you want to do it. And I do two zone cooking, so cooking on the fire, uh, to sear it, and then move it over to the side to let it heat. And then I don't stick any probes in it. So once you stick probes in it, you kind of break the casing, and it can prematurely cook your steaks. So that's what I don't do. PO7 here. You can be a gun snob unless you had your nose pierced by a dog. I actually have, not pierced, but I have had a dog bite me in the nose when I was a kid. Sorry if I missed this. Has it been mentioned? But any interest in the new Vulcan Machine Works 2011s? Yeah, they're building frames. They haven't started a whole gun yet. They are building the aluminum frames. Yeah, I mean Vulcan Machine Works. Those guys are great. Jeremy and all of them. They're super nice guys. They know what they're doing. If you want one of their frames, I'm sure it's going to be great. I just haven't chose to get one yet. I'm still here, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry if I unplug this camera, it's probably going to freak out. The wire was moving, so I touched it, and I don't know, I might have a little short in it or something. The Big J Round podcast, yeah. I saw Brian for 24 hours in the refrigerator. Keep it in the fridge, but let it sit for 24 hours. You can even do a short salt brine. You could do like 2 hours, 4 hours, 6 hours, whatever you have time to do. Um, it will pay off for you, I promise. Yeah. No, it's laying right here on the counter. Oh, did they release a complete pistol? I didn't know that they did. Okay. I did not know that, Brad. I knew that they made the frames, but I didn't know they had a whole pistol. Because I know they did one for Jimmy, if you know Jimmy. I know they did one for him, uh, but it had it had a staccato upper on it. Yeah, Rich B, I always run the plus fives or the plus twos on my PO7 and my P10C. Just like I said, I've got XXL hands, but I always at least run a plus two, and it's not an issue. But when I'm shooting them for like fun or at the range or whatever, I put plus fives on them. Thanks, AA. I appreciate it. Do you cover it in the in the fridge? No, you just leave the meat open because that's what it needs to do. It needs to get air in the fridge, and it actually helps absorb that salt absorbs all the moisture in the meat. So do not cover it. Just let it sit on the tray in the refrigerator. Oh, Brad said I shot it at the average Joe's range day last week. Very nice. Comes with the ports already. Had a very deep acro cut. Yeah, I thought that was a staccato slide, though. I didn't think that was their slide. That's Jimmy's gun. Yeah, Average Joe, that's Jimmy. That's his gun. Oops. Um, I'm not a big frog lube guy. David, I used it way back in the day, and you got to bake it on. I did not get along with that stuff at all. I'm not saying you won't. I am not a believer in it. The salt again is kosher salt. It's coarse kosher salt. You can get it anywhere. They You can even use Redmond's. I think it's called Redmond's Real Salt. I think that's the name of it. It's just a little harder to find, and as much as I barbecue, the Redmond's is super expensive most of the time, so that's why I just use the kosher. Yeah, I am not a frog lube guy. Man, that shit, everybody was going on and on about it back in the day, and you'd put it on your gun, and you could put it in the oven and kind of bake it in there and all that. But I found out it gummed up. I saw it getting into like, and it doesn't matter if a little bit of oil gets in there, but this frog lube crap kind of turns into glue. And it was getting like in the firing pin channels and shit like that. And I didn't even use that much of it. I used exactly, I followed the directions to a T. Okay, cool. I did not know that, Brad. I appreciate it. No, I'll definitely check into that. Yeah, Vulcan makes some damn good. They do some damn good work. I mean, Jeremy knows definitely what he's doing. They do good work there. They did my 1911 45, the camoed one. I had them do that. Yeah, I'm sure they're doing everything in house, and man, they do. Whoops, here it is. They do. They do everything in house. I mean, they take the time. They really make sure stuff's right. They're not just hacking up your crap. I mean, they do good work. Thicker my cuts. It depends on some steaks I'll do a 2 inch. Some I've done an inch and a half. It just depends. I mean, there's not a. I just don't really like thin ones. I'd say usually an inch and a half to 2 inches. You'll be good to go. And I just tell my guys there at Old Town Meat Market, when I go in, I'm like, hey, I need a 2 inch ribeye or whatever, or sirloin or whatever I'm cooking at that time. Um, and they'll cut it for me if they don't have one in the case already that I can pick. But they'll pick out some good cuts for me and then trim them to the way that I want them. And even if you don't have a butcher shop and you go into some of the big box stores, if you get to know the butcher there, sometimes they'll cut them for you too. You know, it never hurts to ask. How long do you cook? 1.5, 2 inch to medium rare to medium. David, that's where it comes in with your heat that you have, how it's cranking. Um, if you're doing two-stage cooking, there's a lot of variables there. Um, you know, I mean, one thing if you don't know how to do a push test on a steak, some people don't, and that's nothing. If you don't, that's cool too. I would highly recommend a thermopin. It's just handheld. You can actually probe the meat, take it off the fire, just move it over to the side where you don't have flames, and you can stick a probe in it. It's a thermopin. They're a little expensive, but they're good. Check it, and that'll give you your internal temperature. Usually 120, 129 to 132. You can pull it off because remember, when you pull it off and it's resting, it's still cooking. It doesn't have to be over the fire to cook. So that's like when people say I'm resting the meat can still be cooking. A lot of times I will make a cowboy butter. I'll use, of course, real butter, a chunk of real butter. I'll chop up garlic. I'll chop up some parsley, maybe a little bit of thyme, chop all that up and actually put it in the butter. And I'll melt all of that. And I'll do this like sometimes the night before. And I will put it in a Ziploc sandwich bag and kind of stand it up so it kind of makes its own little, whatever you want to call it, its own little kind of little tube of butter. It'll kind of form back. And then when the steak is resting, I'll cut that up. Those chunks, I'll just cut up the chunk of butter that I've made and put it on the steak. So when it's resting, that's the butter that I use. Taste the meat, not the heat. Yep. I've showed it before. I usually, on the side that I'm cooking, I usually have, depending on if I'm cooking steaks and things, I'll usually have it 550 to 600 so I can get a good sear out of it. Usually I'll run it about 500, 500 to 550. If it smells like perfume, leave the room. Yeah, I don't use the fake butter. No, that stuff's just chemicals. I use real butter. Let's see here. Big J, is your PO9 milled for an optic? Yes, it is. One of them is. One PO7 and one PO9 are both milled for optics. And I've got on both of them, well, put it this way. Now on the PO7, I just put that Sealy optic. So it's got the enclosed on the PO7. My PO9 has a Holosun 507C, the original one. That's what it has on that one. Or no, I take that back. I'm sorry. On the PO9, on that one, it has a Delta Point Pro. Yeah, on my custom, and it's all, you can check it out. It's camoed. It's gray, black, and orange camo on that PO9 with a tricked out stippling job on it. But that one has the Delta Point Pro. I love the pistol. I hate Delta Point Pros. Yeah, the thermal pins are not cheap, but they are some of the best in the business. You can get knockoff ones even on Amazon, and I'm not saying that they're bad, Floridian. A lot of those thermal pin replicas or whatever you want to call it, lookalikes, they're actually pretty decent. I have a couple of them, and they're good within about 3 to 5 degrees. But the thermal pins are freaking balls on. So if you want exactly what that meat is, thermal pins are your game. So I have not. Whoops. I have you ever deep fried a turkey? Um, I personally haven't. I've been to a friend's house that did. You never want to deep fry a frozen turkey because it'll explode. But I've never personally deep fried a turkey. I do have a deep fryer that I could, but I'm just not really I guess I'm kind of more of a classic person. I have smoked many, many turkeys on my offset, big offsets. So I've had, man, one Thanksgiving, because I was doing them for other families and we were giving them to those families. I think I did like 8 or 10 smoked turkeys, big ones, in a full pan. Each one of them are in pans. But yes, I have. Best lard, deep fry. Okay, David, I'm going to tell you. And you're going to go, what? But this is true. The best oil or lard to deep fry in is tallow. Okay, you can. It's not cheap, but you can look it up. It's called beef tallow, or you can make your own. Every time you cut fat off of a brisket, a fillet, not a fillet, a brisket, a T-bone, um, as long as it's beef, a tri-tip, a picanha, anything. If you cut fat off, put it to the side, and you can make your own tallow out of that, or your own lard, if that's what you want to call it. Um, you can actually boil or cook it down, and it'll actually turn into like a gel. You can let it sit. It'll kind of harden up, like Crisco. It kind of looks like that. Then you can scoop it out, and you can actually put it on your steaks. You can use it as butter. Some people do, or you can use it as something to fry in. So here's the thing, though. If you're going to deep fry beef, then you can use beef tallow. If you're going to deep fry a turkey, I wouldn't use a beef tallow or beef fat to cook chicken or turkey in, because that's your foul. So that's kind of like, here's a little tip if you want to know this. If you have 2 stages of cooking, like you've got an upper rack and a lower rack, always have your beef on the top. Never have your chicken or your fowl on the top, because you don't want your chicken fat to drip down onto your beef, because it basically kind of, in a competition, you'd lose. So you always want your beef on the top, and your beef can drip down on your fowl, but your fowl can never drip down on your beef. So that's just a little tip if you're doing it that way, like if you're smoking items in a stackable smoke thing. Yeah, and you can inject stuff, but yeah, you can use peanut oil. You can use. I try to stay away from. I honestly try to stay away from seed oils. They're not that great for you. Like peanut, olive, or not olive, or well, olive's not that great, but it's probably one of the better ones. Canola oil's not great for you. It's whatever you, whatever you choose. Birds have fat. Yep. But yeah, when I trim meat, I actually keep all that to the side and I make my own tallow. It's kind of time consuming. It's kind of a pain in the ass, but you know, because when you render that fat down, and then you can use it on a brisket, you can use it on a picanha, you can use it on tri-tip, whatever you want to use it on. But rendering it onto a brisket is actually really, really good. There's all kinds of little tricks that I do with brisket. I won't give away everything, but let's just say if you are smoking a brisket, I'll give you this tip. I don't want to give away everything. I'll save it for some videos. But if you're cooking a brisket and you really want it to be different and probably it'll make people talk, if you take pickle juice, put a little bit of pickle juice in a pan, and you're salt brining it, remember, in a refrigerator. So you're going to salt brine it, but in the bottom of that pan, you're going to put a little layer of pickle juice on that brisket in the bottom of it. 12 hours, you're going to let it sit in that pickle juice with the salt brine on it. You're going to flip it after 12 hours and let it sit in the rest of that pickle juice. Then you'll notice when you pull it out the next day, whatever that thick layer or that thick amount of pickle juice that you had in there, it's pretty much sucked up. It's almost gone. And it'll absorb into that brisket. And it's vinegar, so it helps break down that fat as well. But it really gives it a different texture and a different taste to your brisket. No, I have not made my own wine. Have not. Aren't some seed oils industrial? Yes. They're actually really bad for you, David. Yeah, it's not good for your system at all. So yeah, if you read about seed oils, you will really you'll really be like, what? They're not good for you. So I do try to stay away from as many seed oils as I can, especially when cooking. Sometimes when you just buy fast food or whatever, you don't know. But yeah, if I'm cooking, I do try to stay away from it. And there's a lot of different kinds where it's like not made with seed oil. I mean, you can find it. Sometimes they're kind of hard to find, but you can find them. But it is about 8:20. Is there anything else that y'all want to kick on? Oh, and also, on that tri-tip, I don't know if y'all saw the pictures I posted. They're in the community chat if you want to look at it. But after I had salt brined that, I did pull it out and I did use a baste or a coat of mustard on the front, the back, the sides as a binder prior to putting my dry rub on it. So just use that as a binder. You do not have to use a binder. Like I said in the video, if you watched my long video on the Big J's pit stop. But like on brisket and stuff, I do use the pickle juice and I do use a mustard binder. I've had really, really good luck with it and won some stuff with it. So those are some of the things I've done. A lot of people do it. I've seen people use mayonnaise for binder. I've seen people use no binder, mustard, Dijon. I've seen all kinds of binders. I just use the basic old school French's or even the Walmart brand. If you don't want to use French's, whatever. But mustard's a really great binder, and it doesn't make your meat taste mustardy. A lot of people have asked me that, but yeah, it's good stuff. A lot of people drink olive oil. Yeah, my mom used to do that. Love to go to these moonshine stores and do tastings. Yeah, my liquor store, they have some moonshine. I don't know how great it is. I've tried it a couple times and it was okay. Uh, I do have a friend. Well, actually, he's a family member. Uh, he's my cousin's husband. He makes his own. Now, not to sell, not to sell. I have to say that as a disclaimer. But man, his is really, really good. He does the flavorings and the non-flavoring, but he makes some good stuff. I haven't asked him all of tips and tricks on that because that'd probably be another rabbit hole I would go down and start making that crap. But he does some good stuff. He does a apple cinnamon one. He's done a peach moonshine, a blueberry moonshine. I mean, he's done some really, really good ones. Yep, the old school plain Jane mustard like you put on a sandwich or a hamburger. That's the exact one. You don't have to get the Grey Poupon or the ground mustard, just the plain old mustard. But we will go ahead and shut it down. Ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate y'all so much. Y'all hit that thumbs up button, smash it, smash it. And if y'all need anything, please reach out. Love one another. Tell your family you love them. all that good stuff. I'm sorry my camera did this. Sometimes if I wiggle that in the middle of the chat, it does this crap, and I didn't want to have it take a chance on the chat going down, so that's why you can't see me. But it's the same ugly mug you saw before, so it hasn't changed. But hope you all have a great week, and I will probably do some cooking this weekend. I got to think about what I want to do, but might do some steaks. Oh, and also I did cook those burgers. My wife told me, now I didn't have her on video, but my wife told me those were the best burgers. I cooked burgers with that tri-tip, and she said those were the best burgers. And she is a burger freak. She will only eat at like two burger places, not fast food, but like Snuffers. If y'all have a Snuffers, she likes the Snuffers burgers. But anyway, she said that that was the best burger she's ever had in her entire life. So, and I actually salt brine those as well. And you will never have a salt brined burger. People just don't do it because it's time consuming. But I did that on those. You can see it in the video where I did the tri-tip. And if you want to check it out, I salt brined those burgers. I used the rub on those as well, and they did come out amazing. So they were perfect temperature. I mean, and the casings, I didn't rupture them. I did the thumb test on them and did not use the probe, never even stabbed them. And they came out perfect. So perfect temperature on those things. But let's see here. Do those steaks and show the salt brine again. Oh, do those steaks and show the salt brine again. Okay. Yeah, I can do that. I can show y'all how to salt brine. It's not hard. It's super easy, but I can walk you through it again. And I've got videos. It is on the ribeye. I show officially doing the salt brine. And then I show the before the salt brine what the meat looked like on the ribeye, and then after the salt brine, so you can see how the brown meat was when you took it out of the package, and then how it reddens up after you pull it out of the salt brine, or pull it out of the fridge from being salt brined. So I can do that again. It's not a big deal. How to thumb test David, it's experience, but it's basically when you push the meat, it'll have a rebound effect. And then you'll know, you'll kind of have an idea about the tenderness or the readiness. It's all about rebound, but that comes with experience. I could sit here and try to explain it for an hour, but I don't think I could do a very good job with it. It just all comes with experience. But when you start cooking a lot of beef, you'll kind of know how to do it. Beef will sweat, so you'll see it pool on the top. If you get like little pool cavities, that means it's still, trying to cook all the juice out, and you want to catch it right when it's stopping to push the juice out of the meat. And then that's when you can do your testing. Yeah, on a chicken or a turkey, you can definitely do a wet salt brine. And I have done that before too. Yeah, whole different animal, but it's basically similar to the same thing. And a lot of people, if you want to do a competition wet salt brine, here's a tip. I know a guy that's had many championships of cooking chicken, and he does the wet salt brine. And instead of using water and salt, he uses chicken broth. It's all natural chicken broth. He makes it himself. He boils a chicken, pulls all the juice out, and then that's his wetness for the brine. So he's basically doing his salt brine with salt and fresh chicken broth, if that makes any sense. And it's pretty awesome. Salt to water ratio, depending on how if you're going to do a flat breast, like split, where you split the whole chicken long ways, like a Polo Loco. You're just, what a lot of people do, David, just to give you a tip, a lot of people will salt their chicken, like salt it all up, and then put it in the water where it's just covering the top. If it's like a flat chicken, they'll do water just so it's the top of that. They don't do like a bathtub and then put a little salt because it'll dilute your salt down. So you just want it kind of hovering over either the whole chicken or the flatness of the chicken in a tub. So in kind of a smash where you're smashing the chicken in there and then having the water just barely cover it. But you're pre-salting your chicken before by, on its skin. And when you do that, lift the edge of the skin up if you can and sprinkle a little salt under there. So salt the skin and the chicken underneath if you can. That way you'll get even crispier skin when you do your final sear. And that crispy chicken skin is pretty amazing. So we will shut it down. I appreciate y'all so much. Have a wonderful night. Hit that thumbs up, and we will look forward to doing this next Wednesday. Take care, everyone. Our nation's a very weak nation, so we all got to carry on.